So, with that, I would like to welcome the one and only Julie Harrelson, founder of Cascade Angels, to the stage to kick off the early stage presentation.
Hi, everyone. Good morning, intrepid souls who got here early. Who all went to the reception last night? Oh my gosh, I'm hoarse from talking so much. So this is going to be a great segment. Just want to give you a little bit of background about the early stage and how the 5 finalists got here, and then I'll introduce our esteemed panelists. So this is how it works. After applying to the BVC, they pitched before a panel of experts in early September who narrowed the field down to the top 10 that presented at Pub Talk. And any of the Pub Talk was packed. I think, I don't know how many people that were there, but it was kind of standing room only. So they then presented, and the Pub Talk audience and another panel of experts then voted for the 5 that they felt could most benefit from the Portland Seed Fund investment. And they're here today. And thank you, Portland Seed Fund. So they're here, they're going to pitch, and I think they're all hoping that you'll vote for them too. I'd like to introduce now our expert panelists, Matt Compton and Caroline Lewis. Matt is from Oregon Venture Fund. Hi, Matt. Good morning. Are you an early bird?
Sort of.
Okay, good. So we're going to work on our early morning humor. Okay? That's not funny. Where's the coffee? Okay. So Matt has been an active startup investor and advisor in Oregon for the past decade. And in 2008, Matt began investing with the Oregon Angel Fund, leading the investment in JAMA Software. He's been a venture-backed CEO and most recently was COO of Simple Financial, where he led its growth to 350 employees. He served on the boards of several early and growth stage companies, including JAMA Software and Simple Financial, and is currently on the board of REI. Love REI. And all the other organizations that you've represented. Okay, so Caroline, thanks for being here today from Rogue Venture Partners. Caroline's primary responsible for deal sourcing and screening, due diligence, community engagement, and helping portfolio companies of Rogue Venture Partners. She also works with various accelerators locally on behalf of the U.S. Embassy. I was going to make a joke. I'm going to wait. Hold that joke. Okay. Previously, she was the Senior Director of Strategy and Operations for Global Design, Product, and Merchandising at Nike, where she managed a $500 million portfolio of strategic programs across 3 international business units. Was that 500 million or 500 billion? 500 million, okay. It's good. No, it's good. Portfolio of strategic programs across 3 international business units.
Can we get the entrepreneurs up here? I love you, Julie.
I don't think that's small. I think that's a lot. Okay. I'm not trying to be funny. Thank you to each of you for sharing your experience with the BVC today. We really appreciate it. I know you're busy, and we're looking forward to the questions. So now on to the quick but intense portion of the Ben Venture Conference, the early stage competition. Imagine being one of these 5 competitors where a 20,000 plus investment hangs on your ability to articulate your company to the audience in just 3 minutes. No pressure. This year, that investment is generously provided by Portland Seed Fund. Let's give Portland Seed Fund a round of applause. Okay. After each 3-minute pitch, this early stage panel will ask questions of the presenter. After all 5 early stage companies have presented and answered questions, you'll be asked to vote electronically for the one startup you think would benefit most from a $2,500 cash award. Don't bother picking up your device just yet, though, because voting isn't open till we tell you. And don't worry, instructions on how to vote are forthcoming and can be found in the app. And good luck to all the early stage finalists. So we have a timer up here. I'm gonna time the presenters, and if they start to go over, I'll start going like this to stop them. And then we'll have some Q&A from panelists and Q&A from you. So be at the ready for some good questions. Okay, first company. I'd like to introduce the first early stage company, Ella and Oak. Founder Christine Callahan created the online bridal marketplace for plus-size brides, bringing the try and buy experience home to consumers before making the big purchase. Come on up.
Thank you. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Can you hear me? Okay. Hi, I'm Christine Callahan. I'm the founder of Ella and Oak, but I'm not here to talk about me. I'm here to talk about my friend Amy. She got engaged last year, and she had the hardest time finding a wedding dress. Amy tried all the local boutique stores, a few online options, but because she's a size 18, she was unable to find even samples to try on. One store squeezed her into a size 6 and tried to parade her in front of a bunch of strangers just to use a mirror. Another store, she tried to walk in, Pretty Woman style. They took one look at her and said, sorry, we have nothing for you. You need to leave. Amy had a pretty high budget. She had $3,000 to spend. But despite this, she ended up having to settle. She settled for a $500 very plain white dress from David's Bridal. It wasn't anything she had hoped or dreamed about. And she walked away from this experience feeling not only ashamed, but really embarrassed about herself and her body. And that's not what a bride should feel like. This is her special day. And watching this as one of my friends, I felt frustrated. And I knew that there was a better way for brides to find their dream dress. And that's why I'm here today. Ella and Oak is here. We're modernizing bridal with a fun online marketplace dedicated to selling curvy designs, size 14 and up, with a fun at-home try-on experience. We're selling exclusive brand-name designer dresses, all ranging from $1,200 to $3,000 a piece. And to be absolutely sure that she loves her dream dress, anything she picks on our site, we'll send her a sample to her house so she can try them on at home, either in private, or she can pop some champagne with her girlfriends and have a good time with it. She can then order directly through our site. Now, you might think Amy's experience was just a fluke, but it wasn't. She's not alone here. 68% of American women are considered plus size. More than half of our brides that are shopping today, which is about 2 million brides each year, are looking for dresses size 14 and up. Now, the fashion plus-size wedding industry is worth well over $2 billion, but no one is focusing on it, which is just crazy. There are some amazing retailers that have come to terms with this and are excited to offer some amazing brands like Eloquii and Dia & Co. And they're putting a focus back on this in the industry, but it has yet to hit bridal. And that's where we're here. My background is primarily customer experience and operations, and I've surrounded myself with an amazing mentor and launch team, all having worked with some famous e-commerce and fashion brands. I've even brought on a co-founder in New York City who has background in finance, marketing, and customer strategy. Together, we're pre-launching this winter, and we're raising capital to launch nationally this coming spring. We do have an open investment round currently, and we're looking for partners to help fill this out. If you'd like to connect afterward, I'd love to talk. If we were to win BVC, we'd be able to add not only samples to our inventory, but also add national influencers to our social media strategy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Christine. Panelists?
Thank you.
Hey, that's a great pitch. Thank you.
Oh,
great. I love
thanks.
the storytelling there. And definitely, it feels like an underserved market. Absolutely. At REI, we've been thinking about this question as well and how to serve this market. One thing when I think about this industry, it's sort of a one-time purchase, or hopefully maybe no more than a two-time purchase.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Well, maybe this ruins my question, but no. How do you think about that, where it's sort of one shot at monetizing a customer versus over kind of a lifetime, and is that an issue, and how do you work around that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And again, we are focusing fully on brides. We want them to have an amazing experience and buy their dream dress and have their dream wedding. But we totally understand that as well, where we're going to be adding not only accessories and bridesmaids dresses to our line, but we're also going to be adding ready wear at some point, so we can really hit the bride along all of her journey as she goes through her engagement. So. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So one aspect of Is this on? Yeah. Okay. So one aspect of kind of getting that bridal experience is, you get all the friends and everything. How do you want to foster that type of experience with your e-commerce play?
I'm sorry, at the beginning part cut out.
Getting like all your friends together and going to the bridal shop, kind of the event aspect of
Yeah.
it. How do you foster that through the e-commerce play?
Yeah, that's a great question. We're sending actually with our samples a try-on kit that actually has instructions on how to throw a fun party and have a good time with it. We're sending goodies in the boxes with champagne and treats and things like that. I gave you guys a little sample on your thing. But yeah, so they'll be able to have a good time. We're also going to have FaceTiming with stylists, so you can actually feel like you are interacting with someone that can help you fit to your dress and feel comfortable in it and excited about what you're purchasing.
How about some questions from the audience?
Sure.
Yeah, here. Yes, go ahead. While you're doing that, is there another question from the panelists? And then I'll call on you, okay? So just stand there quietly. Okay.
Go for it. She's got the, she caught
Does
the
she
box,
have it now?
caught it and
Okay,
everything.
go ahead.
Can you speak to how you curate your designs and how many SKUs that you plan to launch with when you do your soft launch next year?
Yeah, thank you. We're actually launching with about 15 designs. We've partnered with some amazing designers all across the globe that actually work really hard to make sure they're providing size inclusivity across their line. So they are building exclusive designs for us where no other retailer or online store is going to be able to sell what we're selling, so that we have a competitive advantage there. And our designers are manufacturing all in the US or in India, and they're holding inventory themselves, so we actually don't take on that risk. Mm-hmm.
So here's how we'll do this so that we can move this really quickly. When you have a question, raise your hand and we'll get the box to you while we're talking, so we're not pausing to wait for the box to be passed, okay? So if you have a question, raise your hand and then we can pass the box. Panelists?
So when you think about your founding team and maybe your first couple hires, what's going to be the most important area of talent to add to your team?
Yeah, so we'll definitely be bringing in quite a bit of marketing help, cost of acquisition, and everything's really important to us. But our first hire will most likely be fulfillment and customer service. Yeah, we're going to need to fill across the country, and having someone there as a stylist to help out with our brides will be most important.
Okay, great. There's a question in the audience.
Designers typically have pretty high prices for their products.
Mm-hmm.
What's your gross margin look like?
Yeah, great question. So to launch, we're actually starting with some wholesale relationships with the designers, which is pretty typical, and we'll see about 50%, 45% margins to start. Mm-hmm.
Up in the balcony, if you don't have a good question, you can always sing like you're in the opera.
I can do that too.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Dre. I'm with the University of Oregon. I'm wondering what you're going to do for brides that need some alterations done on their gowns.
That's a great question. There are quite a few companies that do offer your dress is built to your body, but we don't really believe in that. The tradition of us having a seamstress is something that I find very valuable in this process, and we want to make sure that we're recommending partners. So we'll have seamstress partners in major cities and different areas that we're targeting so that our brides can use those amazing women to help fit to their body up until the 2 weeks before their wedding so that they have a dress that fits them perfectly.
Caroline.
Building off of that key partnership relationship, when it goes to going to market, your different channels that you're going to go through, what channels are you targeting, and do you have any key partners in mind to help reach your consumer?
Yeah, no, great question. Our top three, I would say, are most likely paid social, so Instagram and Facebook, where we can really heavily target niche markets, and then also influencers is our top, probably. What we've found in a lot of our customer research is that a lot of women who are curvier tend to follow specific other women that have the same body types, and they very much trust them and want to make sure that they're using something that's going to work for their body because they know it's going to work for theirs. And so that's going to be our top partnership. Right now we're working on influencers across the country, as I mentioned, and we can bring in some national ones with some funding. Mm-hmm.
I see there's a question in the back.
Hello. Okay, so first of all, great pitch.
Thank you.
I'm not really your target market because I've never been a plus-size bride, but yet, I guess. So this seems like a very early kind of rent-the-runway style model, and I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but they just recently had $200 million of cash infusion in May. And what and how would your strategy change if they announce today that they're entering the plus-size market?
So Rent the Runway does offer plus-size clothing, so they do, but it's a different world. It's rentals. We are offering a brand new dress to our brides so that they can keep it and think about this day. You know, it's their special moment. They want maybe their daughter to use their dress or use the fabric for something later down in their life as a tradition. So it is definitely a different model. And they do offer plus size today. So we'd use them as a competitor in some way, but since we're offering brand new dresses, it's just a little bit different.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
So I see that there's some students maybe down here and up here, so get teed up, get a question going, because I'm gonna call on you, okay? Matt?
So going a little bit of a different direction here, why do you want to be an entrepreneur? Why are you doing this?
It's a great question.
This is hard stuff.
Yeah, it's hard stuff. It's not easy. I honestly just wanted to build something amazing. I had some problems finding my own wedding dress, and I'm a size 6, and I had trouble, but I had options. And just watching this happen and women go through this, I just knew that there was a better way for people to shop and buy what they wanted for a dream day. This is a big deal for women, and so I wanted to make sure that everyone was happy and having a great time on this special time.
Any questions?
Student questions.
Student
Pressure's
question?
on.
No, nothing yet? Okay, I'll come back to you in a little minute. How about over here? Student questions? University student questions? Oh, come on, people. Curiosity. Okay, Caroline?
Yeah, so when you think about where you want to take your company, and I know you said ready to wear, what are some of the challenges that you see moving forward, especially in the global trends in terms of ready to wear and overall bridal in the plus size industry?
Yeah, definitely technical skills is one of the biggest areas. Plus size is trending right now, I would say, with a lot of different companies and retail businesses that are popping up, and it's hard to find talent. So we are putting that as a phase 2, just so we can really figure out, you know, who is right for us, who's the right partner. And it is something that we're actively looking for. I was just in New York last week interviewing technical designers, and it's going to be tough for us, but I'm really excited to see, as the world is shifting and changing, especially in fashion, what's going to come of it. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Hi. Oh, great. Yay, a fan. Mm-hmm. That's correct, yes. Yeah, so right now, your first dress to try on is $25, and any additional dresses are $10 to add into your try-on box. Anything that you love and you decide to purchase, that cost that you spent to do your try-on will then go back into the price as a refund. Mm-hmm.
What haven't we asked you that you'd like to answer or you'd like to share with us?
I guess where the name came from?
Yeah, where did the name come from?
Sure. Actually,
Great
Ella,
question.
I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Ella means goddess, and we wanted all of our brides to feel beautiful and confident on their special day, and so we thought that was well-fitting. And then oak is actually just a very strong word, like what a marriage should be. And also my husband and I got married under the oaks in South Carolina, so it was kind of personal and also exciting, so we
Great.
paired it together.
Thank you. Congratulations. Yeah.
Thanks, Julie. Thank you.
So thank you so much, Christine. Great job. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Jamie Bianchini, who's bringing smart technology to the scented candle space with his company, LuDela. Jamie? This is the part where I pull the rabbit out of the hat. Is that even? Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Alrighty. Thank you guys. I'm very grateful to be here. Let's say that as I get started here. Do I have a clicker? Is that up here? The podium. Thank you. Okay. All right, my name is Jamie Bianchini. Thank you all for having me. By show of hands here, how many people have candles in their home? As you can look around the room, you see there's a lot. Approximately 80 million households have candles in their home. We're sharing a very big idea we call Better Light, Better Lives, which is using innovation in the real flame candle space as a vehicle to create better lives for kids less fortunate. Let's talk about the candle here. We go to a candle store, we envision having a beautiful flame and that lovely ambiance, and of course the nice accent decor that you get from a nice candle, but we all know that doesn't last. As you start using the candle, what you end up finding is it goes into the tunnel of death. Right? The flame goes away, you lose the flame, it's a bit of a bummer, and you get your lighter out, you're inside the tunnel of death trying to get it lit again, and it's a bummer. And then what ends up happening, if you let it continue to burn, the decor goes out the door, it shrinks down, you have wax mess, and you also have increased fire danger. I was in a candle fire. There's 30 house fires a day caused by candles alone. So that was the inspiration for this innovation here. The only innovation there's been in the market space right now is this. You guys have probably seen, right, a fake piece of plastic with the light on it. This company grew from $0 to $100 million in a few short years. Now, is this sexy? Is this romantic? Is this classy? Of course not. It's not what people really love. It's just the only thing that's addressed these pain points. But until now, I'd like to introduce to you the world's first remote control real flame candlelight system called LuDela. So let's talk about it. We call it the perfect pillar. Why is it the perfect pillar? Because, first of all, remote ignite and extinguish can immediately fill a room. Ever bright flame, the flame is always at the top, never tunnels down, no tunnel of death. Forever new decor is always beautiful. You never lose your accent decor. Flex decor allows you to change the colors quickly. Scent on demand, the world's first scented candle. You just drop your fragrance in when you want it, and you can change them as you want it. Tilt extinguish, if you don't have pets here or kids, they happen to knock them over, automatically will extinguish the flame to increase fire safety. And timer extinguish, you can set a timer for your burn, and at the end of the timer, it will automatically extinguish the flame. So really a game changer, as you can see. $128 billion global market opportunity. It is a device refill business model, similar to SodaStream, a device and 2 refills. And the margins on those refills are incredible, 80% plus gross margins on the refills. We've already done a successful Kickstarter. We have 340 customers that will be receiving product this holiday season. So you can pre-order it on our site. We've met with buyers from QVC, HSN, Frontgate, Face-to-Face that are very eager for our product, also all the way up to Target and so forth. We have an incredible team that we've been working with very passionately to bring this out, and we're looking to take the Oregon Seed Fund investment and hire our first operations hire here in Bend. We'd love your support. Thank you.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
Whew. Okay. What do you think? Yeah, no, you're not. Mike?
So,
Yeah,
first of all, awesome presentation.
Thank you.
I get it. I love it. I'm like, all right, I'm going to sign up. I'm going to be a customer. So, you look like you're on a kind of good path. You already have some sales going. What do you need the money for? What do you want to do with that money? Where are you going with it?
Well, we all our molds are made. We're going into our first production run this month, mass production on the 19th of November. We need staff. We need people. We need an operations person. I've been wearing a lot. Our team's amazing, but they're dispersed right now. We've kind of pulled in teams of experts that are contractors, but it's time to really formalize our team and get operations in place, customer service, and start building things here.
How's this? Hey, I really like this sort of reinvention of a kind of a stale old market. We've seen that playbook in a bunch of different industries. Mm-hmm. And one thing that's interesting is how do you think about pricing, and where do you position your pricing when you're running that playbook?
Sure. We're first to market in something very unique, and so we're going to keep our pricing at a luxury pricing model, also because our production runs are kind of low now, so all of our costing is higher at that lower pricing. So the kind of decor, it's all luxury decor. The packaging's luxury packaging. So we're started at a higher price at the beginning, like most new innovations when they come out. Karoo coffee maker was $200 at the beginning. These kinds of new innovations are higher, and then as we get to scale, we can drop it down.
Why drop the price?
Just because it's a device refill business model, so we really want to hit that, get as many devices into the market as possible, because that drives the refill revenue, and that's really where, not only from the business perspective, but we're a B Corp, so we donate books for every product we sell out to bring libraries to underserved communities. That's part of Better Lives, and so as we continue to get more devices out there, it's great for our investors and great for our company, but it's also great for bringing the illumination out to children in need.
There's a safety feature with this too, right? Because it's a real flame.
It's a real flame, absolutely.
So are you going to light any of them?
We could
Is
use
it too
Alexa to
much?
light it.
What's that?
Alexa, light my candles.
Alexa, clean my house.
That's a 2019 roadmap. We're not shipping this product this year, by the way.
Do
That's
we have
a demo
questions
for,
in the audience?
For the 2019.
Yeah. Do you have the box? Let's do our tradition from the first one, where if you've got a question, raise your hand, and we'll get the box going so we don't have a pause.
So what's the intellectual property situation?
We have an issued patent. Our patent attorney is also an investor. So he's invested all the way through and can service trade for hires. We also have filed Canada, EU, and China. So we're strong patent portfolios, also some continuation patents, and a great patent attorney who's, as I said, an investor. So he's watching out for making sure we're following the right path. So trying to build a really nice patent portfolio.
Nice. So a question back up here with the orange catch box.
Hey. So how are you going to be dealing with the replacements? So once they are done, how are they going to dispose them? Anything like that?
So these are the two consumables. Is that what you're asking about? The replacements and the consumables? So these are the consumables called carrying candle refills. They come in a pack of 2. They're $5 each. A pack of 2 is $10, so really great value for 25 hours of perfect candlelight, no tunnel of death. And then these are the Sunset fragrance rings. They come in a pack of 2 also for $10, and you just drop these in. We're launching with 6 fragrances, and working with one of the top fragrance houses. So you can buy these on our website or through our retailers. We have 5 pilot retailers in Sisters, Redmond, and Bend that are for our pilot wholesale program, and we're actually going out there and getting to know business owners and what they need and how we can best service them on that space.
So you have this in market, you have some customers. What have you learned from those customers in terms of their purchasing behavior, what they like, what they don't like?
Well, all we've done is a Kickstarter now. So we did a Kickstarter and some pre-order. We definitely learned that Kickstarter is not the best market for our demographic. And we knew that. We expected that to be some friction there, because we had phone calls from people, from housewives in Alabama saying, well, I don't understand, where's the cart? Because Kickstarter's Kickstarter, right? It doesn't have a cart. It's not a traditional buying. You don't get it in 2 days. You're making a pledge. So educating, that was a challenge, but we assumed that was going to be a challenge. We've learned that the price point is acceptable, but people think that it should eventually go down. We're launching at a $99 price point for a single unit and $129 for a starter kit, and everyone's expecting that to go down. But at the beginning, people are accepting that price.
I think there was a question up here, right? Somebody have the box up there?
I do. I'm amazed at how beautiful this product looks from here, and I've seen you do the presentation a couple times.
Sure.
And my only question is, and I don't know if you've gotten feedback on it, is it looks so real, except when you look down on it. And since most of my candles I'm looking into, is there anything that you're looking at doing to address that?
We actually have an absolutely beautiful, we'll call it decorative top cover that we have right now. We are it's in test. We're not going to launch with it because it was distracting us trying to get that into production in Gen 1. So Gen 2, we already have it decorated. It sits on top. It's a ceramic decorative cover, and so you don't see the metal. You see a beautiful ceramic that's painted as a sun, so it stays with our illumination, with our brand and the social mission. But yeah, we hear that. Some people say, I'll take it right now, but are you addressing it? That is also what the market has said too. What are you doing for that? And so we're in final tests with that and trying to lower the MOQs from China. It's sometimes the MOQs can be pretty high. So trying to negotiate.
You want to tell the audience what an MOQ is?
A minimum order quantity. So a lot of times when you want to order like a ceramic piece, you have to order 10,000 ceramic pieces, and we're a startup. So I'm going to make a trip over there and go out to dinner and lower the MOQs.
Put them in your suitcase. Yeah, okay. Oh, there's a question up top. Yeah. Hi.
Hello. So, I saw in one of your pictures what looked like a charger. How many times can this thing light itself before I need to plug it in the wall to recharge it?
Approximately 2 months is our estimate based on average use. So 2 months, you charge it for a few hours, and it's ready for another 2 months. So and then you could do that 600 times, so it's got a long life.
How many hours?
How many
lights?
times can you light it on and off? As many as you want.
Yeah.
Until the charge goes out, that's really based on using it on an average of 3 times per week on and off, turning it on and turning it off 3 times a week, and then having it last for about 2 months. So can't do the math in my head, but that was the estimate we did, and that's based on the National Candle Association's average use of average candle consumers. So that's how we based our
There's like national averages of candle usage.
Yeah.
Is there like a Guinness Book of World Records candle person?
I mean, our team, we've recruited the president of the National Candle Association. She's the one who picked the colors, the fragrances. So we haven't.
Who would have known?
We've got her on our team,
so
good.
She knows. So good, yeah.
So it looks like you've raised about $1.5 million to date. Is that right?
1.4, yeah.
1.4. What milestones have you reached with that capital? And maybe talk a little bit about if you've missed some, or what did you wish you would reach with that money?
Sure. I made plenty of mistakes that I own as a first-time CEO. A lot of it just, chasing opportunities that were down here and spinning out opportunities of design. So a lot of that money was spent designing product. Looking back on it, it wasn't a bad investment because we ended up making the Smart Candle, which you just saw here, which is the Alexa-enabled. This product, we have another roadmap product that's for mass market. So we really have 3 products that are devices that are really ready to go through all of that. So if I can go back and do it again, I probably would have been just a bit more focused and trusting myself and not deviating as much and listening to everyone else telling me what I should do. Did I answer the question totally there?
Yeah, and I was just going to follow on. So with the money that you're raising, what do you hope to achieve? What are the milestones you're setting out?
We're shooting towards a Series A in Q3 or Q4 of next year. So really trying to get this device, the smart device, out in the marketplace and get the long-term value validated for both refills and fragrance, so that we can get out there and scale. And scale it out and learn a lot about our core channels and make sure the product's right and so forth.
We have only 30 seconds left, so I'm not going to be able to take another question, but I did want to just have you finished with what's the coolest thing that's happened in the last 60 days with regard to the business?
Coolest thing, moving to Bend has been the coolest thing for me and my family. Yeah. And bringing it here and watching my kids thrive. LuDela is the name of my Luca is the name of my son. That's where the Lu comes from. It means the bringer of light, and Della comes from Candela.
Thank you.
And that's where it comes from, and that's what's. Yeah. So
Awesome
thank
job.
you guys very much.
Thank
It
you.
was great. I love being here.
Can we get a little help with the props? Thank you, Kip. Okay. All right. Okay, next up we have, this is so eclectic, right? Bridal, candles. Now we go to car washes. I love this about the Ben Venture Conference. Next, to take the stage is Plover, Inc., a car wash machine that utilizes computer vision and modern robotics to clean cars using only steam and water, represented here today by founder Andrew Kim. Andrew?
Hello? Is this on? Is the microphone on? Okay. All right, thank you. All right, hey everyone, I'm Andrew, Chief Marketing Officer of Plover. And at Plover, we're building an automated car wash that can clean a car in 1 minute without using any soaps or chemicals. Today, to build an automated express car wash from scratch, it takes $2 to $7 million in upfront capital, of which $1 to $3 million goes towards equipment costs. You need over 32,000 square feet of land, and across the entire industry, 20% of all revenue goes towards chemical costs. Plover has a very different vision. First, everything is mobile. You can find locations, pay for washers, and manage monthly memberships all through our app without ever rolling down your window. Once you pull in, we 3D scan your car, and using modern robotics, we precisely wash the surface using only steam and high-pressure water. We could save the entire industry over 30 billion gallons of water and over 700 million gallons of chemicals every single year. To change the underlying economics of the car wash industry, we're going to market with the franchise model that focuses on a few key metrics. First, owners should be able to go from no land to washing their first car for between $350,000 and $600,000 all in. $100,000 of that would go to Plover to cover equipment costs. Second, by reducing the equipment room down to the size of an industrial refrigerator, we only require 6,000 square feet, less than 1/5 current land requirements. And third, no more chemical costs. As part of our franchise agreement, Plover is going to handle all the things that car wash owners currently hate dealing with, such as installation, maintenance, R&D, payment processing, and user acquisition. Last year, Americans spent $11 billion on car washes, $5 billion going towards budget options under $10. These consist of self-serve, where you have to clean your own car, and in-bay automatics that you often find at gas stations. With our offering, Plover can be immediately competitive, and we aim to take 1% of the budget wash segment within the next 4 years. To do this, we're focusing on the 30,000 owners of existing self-serve car washes, as they have the least amount invested in their business, with almost no option of boosting their revenue potential. They already have all the infrastructure we need, including the land, permits, and utilities, and our sales funnel is incredibly easy to build, with almost all of their business and contact information readily available through Google and Yelp. So over the past 12 months, since my partner Victor and I started Plover with our own money, $140,000, we've grown our team from 2 to 5 members, and together we've achieved some great traction, with over 250 active conversations with interested owners who've collectively contributed over $300,000 in R&D equipment. And as of last month, we secured our pilot location partnership with a local owner who's provided us with this site. John, our car wash Yoda, brings over 35 years of experience as a car wash engineer and owner, and Matt, our VP of software, brings over 12 years of architecting from companies like Nike and Red Hat. And Max is our latest team member who specializes in robotics and 3D printing. Due to the size constraints of our current testing setup, we're only able to wash 1 car panel at a time. With the $20,000 from the BVC, Plover will expand this system so that we can wash entire cars in one go.
You have to stop now.
Thank you very much, and please ask me to see the demo.
Great job.
So again, really cool rethink of an old stale industry, and VCs are kind of predictable. They always ask this question about like a 10x improvement, and clearly there's a 10x cost improvement there. Maybe a little bit more on, so where are you on this? Have you built a prototype? Is that what I heard? Or
yeah,
is that a full-scale prototype? Or how far are you off from actually producing and installing one of these?
Like, do you have one outside that we can just drive some cars through?
My car's really dirty.
We're expecting a lot from the previous presentation. I'm just joking.
No, so part of what we're raising for is for our pilot location, which will be allowing you to go through and wash your car. Right now, what we have is our automated system set up so that we can wash individual panels, and we've proven out the steam process. We have the movement mechanism, we have the safety system being worked on, and the 3D vision system. And so the round we're raising is to put that together for the full prototype, and the $20,000 from the BVC will allow us to expand the current prototyping system so that we can actually do an entire car in one pass instead of breaking down the car into different segments. So that's where we're at right now. And there's actually a demo video that I hope you'll ask me to see afterwards that demonstrates exactly where we're at. Yeah.
Awesome. When you look at the consumer and their experience generally going to the car wash, they're filling up gas, then they go get a car wash, or they pass one, what types of changes do you anticipate in the consumer behavior with your car wash? Because it looks and feels very different.
Right. So in terms of the behavior of actually getting a car wash, what we're offering is an improvement of what already happens. And so we're providing an app which at this point is pretty cliche. It exists. The whole experience already exists. Apple Pay, people accept. Square is huge. So we're not trying to change the behavior so much as just allow them to have more consistency throughout the other things they do already, where companies have already brought this. And in terms of how it looks, we are trying to change that because it's been the same for over 30 years. So right now, tunnel washes, they taunt colored foams and colored LEDs, which looks nice, but it doesn't really do anything for you. And we talked to owners who actually acknowledge that these are just margin boosters. So we're actually trying to provide entertainment value for that sake, but really in terms of the car wash, we're trying to provide things that actually clean your car better. And that design that you showed, we showed is to give that sense of cleanliness instead of gimmickry, you know.
So I have two suggestions for the audience. So two rule changes. When you've got the catch box, can you hold it up so I can see it? Does anybody have it? Want to ask a question I can't see? And secondly, why don't you say your name when you ask a question so we can all get to know each other? Panelists, you want to ask one question while we're regrouping? Yeah.
Sure. So this feels like it's going to take a fair amount of capital to scale. You have to build the car wash, the machine, and I know it costs a lot less than the traditional equipment. Is that a fair interpretation, or
I
am
mean,
I off on that?
Depends what you're thinking of in terms of expensive and capital. But as a hardware business, obviously, we require some capital to build the initial system. But in terms of actually scaling and expanding, after this round, we only foresee one more round where we get to capacity in an area for 10 locations. And after that, we actually, part of the franchise model that we're going after allows us to grow without any additional capital because they're providing us with the equipment costs. So the $100,000 that we mentioned, that covers all the costs that we need to get that new site set up. So we actually are able to grow cash flow neutral without actual additional upfront capital. In terms of now, some of the capital that will allow us to drive that even down is getting parts ahead of time, which will be way later when we want to scale massively. But in terms of growing location by location, we've found out a way to do it cash flow neutral.
From the balcony, and then we'll take one down here. Yeah.
Hi, what happens on the second half of the car wash when you need to do the inside?
Sorry, can we one more
Wait,
time?
what's your name?
My name's Ann Cook.
Hi, Ann.
Hi, so second half of the car wash, what do you have planned for the inside, vacuuming and?
So we understand that it's very important for some individuals, especially paying the current prices that you do, to have the option to clean inside. So for existing, in the initial locations, the partners that will, the car wash owners, they will have the option to use existing vacuum systems or interior cleaning systems that currently exist. And it is part of our roadmap in the future to develop that. But the first thing we want to focus on is the actual exterior car wash, where the main problems lie.
Yes.
Dan Rosen, Alliance of Angels. Not only do you have to install these, but given your franchise fee, you're going to have to maintain them. It's a very dispersed audience. You don't have 100 car washes in any one location. What's your plan for how you're going to maintain and keep these things running at optimal efficiency?
So right now, maintenance is a big issue for car wash owners, mostly because the majority of car wash owners don't budget the maintenance. They don't treat it like a kind of corporate business operation. They take it as it comes. And we were finding actually a lot of broken down locations because their maintenance bills were unexpected, they're too high, or they're waiting to be able to pay it off. But that's also because right now, the way you build a car wash is very fragmented. Basically, it's like Coach building a car. So you buy one part, which is the car wash frame. Then you have to go get pumps and motors, which is not going to be the same between the exact same car wash model because the pumps and motors have to be sourced from another source. And the POS is another separate thing. So all the different parts of a car wash right now, they're not standardized. You have to go to some other third party to figure out what you want, and everyone is different. So that is very difficult to maintain. For us, we standardize everything, and all of our parts will be the same for every machine. So we know what parts are needed. We can have those parts ready. And we actually, part of growing a location to 10 before we go to another region is so that we can actually have the sales and maintenance team there, so that if there's anything wrong, we can go immediately and fix it within the same day. Hopefully that covers the whole.
Okay. Here, yes.
So one could argue that there's a trend in people not buying as many cars as we move towards Lyft and Uber for their personal use. Can you talk a little about how you thought through that in terms of a strategy of go-to-market or business partnerships as you expand this?
Yeah, so Uber and Lyft definitely are part of our dream clients. And part of right now is, so we found out actually taxi drivers, so we live in Portland, and there's a local taxi company that we found out has a car wash system in their hub. And they're actually charging their taxi drivers to go through. I thought that you just could go and clean your taxi, but they actually have to pay for it. So they're not really covered. And then Uber and Lyft drivers, they have their own decision to make, right? They're individuals who are basically driving for Uber and Lyft, but Uber and Lyft are not taking care of them in that sense. So what we can do is, because the app later will allow these drivers to have a discount if they're a fleet vehicle or whatnot. But initially, we're going after this first location so that we could first prove it out. And then once that's proven out, why wouldn't Uber and Lyft driver come over and wash? If it's cheaper, it takes 1 minute. They don't have to waste time and waste money from missed clients. So we haven't, drilled out the entire, word-by-word strategy on how we're going to engage with Uber and Lyft. But we think that that's going to come organically once we have the first system. And through the app, the experience is very similar. And right now, car washes rely on signage and not much else to get themselves discovered. So.
Okay, we'll take a quick question from up here, and then if we have time, I'll call on you. So be ready to jump up. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, my name's Corey from Oregon Rain. First off, great presentation. I really like the idea. 2 questions. You said high pressure hot water. And I'm curious, is that going to be causing rust and paint chipping on my vehicle? That concerns me as a consumer. And then the second question, are you going to be able to release this eventually to consumers or industry and not just franchise car washes?
I'm glad you asked that question. So current car washes, there are the self-serves, the in-bays, and the tunnels. And within the in-bays, there's touchless and there's touching. So right now, all car washes use high-pressure water, which is not controlled in terms of how much the pressure is. It's just fixed. And we are not exceeding the pressure of existing car washes for the high-pressure water portion. And regarding the steam and your concern about rust, we are not doing anything differently in terms of accelerating or preventing rust. So that's just inherent. If you have exposed metal and it's not anti-rust, and you get it wet and you don't dry it off, it will inevitably rust. So we don't have any difference there, and we don't add any more, damage there. And then if you actually look at touchless car washes, they use hydrofluoric acid and muriatic acid, which causes bone cancer. And it also eats away at the glass, and it also eats away at your rubber trim and plastic trim. So our steam system actually does none of that, and it actually does not harm the car surface any more than existing car washes, and in fact, does less over long term.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Good job.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, give yourselves a round of applause for being a great audience. Three down, 2 to go. So now I want to introduce Luke Chambers of Raaft, the easy-to-use software that helps software as a service SaaS companies reduce customer cancellations. Luke?
Am I on? Good. All right, my name's Luke Chambers, and I'm the founder of Raaft. Your life is filled with subscriptions. From movies and meal boxes to software and servers, you can get just about anything for a low monthly fee. So it's no surprise that the overall as-a-service market is enormous and growing. But the skeleton in the closet is customer loss, also known as churn. It's not uncommon for an as-a-service business to need to replace up to 10% of its customer base every month just to break even, let alone grow. Clearly, there's a missing piece to the customer retention puzzle. What's lacking is continuous feedback from failing customers as well as an opportunity to save them. Simple concepts, but doing these in a continuous way that respects your customers is hard, and that's why we created Raaft. Raaft is a drop-in solution that enables subscription services to save customers, lower churn, and increase revenue. Here's how it works. When a customer clicks cancel, Raaft takes over. We ask a few simple questions to identify the main reason that they are leaving. Raaft will then intelligently respond to customer objections. Here we offer a discount. If they ultimately decide to call it quits, Raaft handles that too. The customer keeps a sense of control while the business gets the feedback and retention opportunity that it has earned. And the data that Raaft collects It's pure gold when it comes to understanding customer motivations. Raaft is available right now, and our customers love it. We launched this summer and have paying customers at $30 a month. But the Raaft retention flow is really just the beginning. Yes, it allows us to help lower churn now, but more importantly, it helps us collect data. Data that we intend to weaponize in the fight against churn. In the coming months, we plan to help our clients understand why their free trials don't convert to paying customers, as well as help them win back customers that have already left. This increased value will enable us to command higher prices, moving our monthly revenue per account north of $100. Armed with these capabilities, we will have an offering primed for the emerging to mid-level SaaS market. With targeted marketing and a focused sales plan, we believe we can capture a significant portion of this market in the coming 12 months. From there, we anticipate moving up market, as well as into adjacent as-a-service markets. To achieve this, we intend to augment an already strong team with sales and marketing to fuel our growth, as well as additional development talent. What Salesforce and Marketo did for getting new customers, we intend to do for keeping them. So, hop aboard Raaft, and let's go save some customers.
Thank you, Luke.
Hey, that's a great pitch, and definitely a real problem. I think anyone who's been in a SaaS business, a recurring revenue business, has felt this and watched those retention curves, and you make a little bit of an adjustment, and it has a lot of value. So I like the value prop. Are your target customers startups initially?
That's the initial market that we're targeting, yeah. Clearly, Raaft is applicable to any subscription-based business. But what we're targeting early on is startups to mid-level, primarily because Raaft's value proposition is twofold. It's keeping customers now, but then getting the feedback to reduce churn in the future. And so those are the people that can use that feedback in their continuous loop as they're.
And just, I like your business, so I'm going to push on this a little bit. I love startups. I don't like them as customers. And so how would you react to that? Have you thought about this as, how do you get into the enterprise? Can you take a little slice of an enterprise value prop? Have you thought about that at all?
Yeah, so we use Intercom as a sort of a model for us. And if you're aware of Intercom, they provide ways to communicate with your customer online and that as a service, right? And so we think that we sort of followed that model kind of on the back end of the customer lifecycle. And if you run a SaaS business, even a startup, Intercom or a way to communicate with your customers via chat is absolutely has enough value that it's just a no-brainer to do. And we believe that Raaft can be the same thing, that we can help those customers retain enough revenue that it's just an automatic win for them.
Can you also talk about, and you mentioned it in your pitch, I just wanted you to talk about a little bit more about how you're going to offer the service of interpreting the data and the insights, right? Like data is great, but how do you actually help people make action on it?
Yeah.
And then how can you potentially get more predictive about it as well?
Yeah, data without insights is just data. And so one of the things that is right in front of us in terms of our roadmap is trying to elevate insights out of that data. So we capture two types of data, quantitative and qualitative. The quantitative is pretty easy with averages and trends and things like that. It's the qualitative to take when you ask the question, what could we have done to keep you as a customer? If we can surface trends out of that and tell our customers that, hey, your customers that are on this plan that you got through this channel tend to be price sensitive, tend to talk about bugs, things like that. If we can elevate those, I think it'll be a real win.
How much are you raising again, and what are the milestones you want to reach with that raise?
Yeah. Well, I think my answer to that would be that we are open to a round of funding. At this point, we have been fully bootstrapped, and we're seeing what the future holds for us.
That was a really vague answer. I'll let it go because we're in the audience here. So,
how about some questions from the audience? Yes, right here. Good toss, good catch.
All right, Brianna McDonald, Kretzer Forum Northwest. I just like to understand a little bit more on the consumer end. So for me, I get tons of email all the time.
Mhm.
And when I want to like go through and like try and clean my inbox and unsubscribe for things, the last thing I want to do is go through and answer a series of questions.
Right.
I just want to be done.
Right.
So if I do choose to, unsubscribe from a service,
Yeah.
can I unsubscribe immediately, or do I actually have to go through the prompts of answering these questions to further my, unsubscription? And if that is the case, how do you actually think that consumer is going to react to that? They're going to actually stay on as a customer,
Yeah.
because if I've made the decision to stop working with this company for
Right.
whatever reason, I'm pretty much done.
Yeah, fair question. I'd answer that in a couple ways. So first of all, we're not really targeting email specifically or really at all in terms of unsubscribing from a list, right? These are services that you've signed to pay for that people are unsubscribing from. And so if we think about sort of what some of the ways that clients that have come to us are currently getting the information that we're asking for, it's by asking their customers to pick up the phone and call to cancel, right? And that's really painful. No customer likes to have to pick up the phone to call to cancel. And so what we are doing is we are elevating this idea that you didn't talk to me when I signed up for your service. Don't require me to talk to you when I cancel. So, but to answer your question directly, you said that I don't want to have to go through a series of questions in order to cancel. We try to be very clear that what the path to cancellation is. We're not interested in putting up roadblocks to cancellation, and any of those questions can be optional as well.
So just a quick follow on then. So who is exactly your target market? And I mean, you mentioned startups, but that's really vague. So what is your go-to-market strategy, and then how do you scale it from there? Because I guess I really don't understand who your customer is.
Mm-hmm. So our customer would be a business that has a subscription-based recurring revenue model. Our go-to-market strategy is going to be to focus on early-stage subscription-based businesses so that we can help them get the feedback and the retention opportunity that they need. We intend to get there in front of that audience by doing knowledge, content marketing, being knowledge and thought leadership in terms of this respecting your customer in the offboarding process. Does that answer your question?
And here's the thing. Why don't you two have a conversation after the pitch? That would be awesome.
Yeah,
no, seriously, it's a good one. So up top here, I think getting clarification on that would be awesome. A little bit more.
Graham Barber, Oregon State University student. So the service that you're providing here is definitely something that, you said you're basing your model off of Intercom. It's definitely something that, Intercom or Drift or even Zendesk is interested in. So how do you guys intend to protect yourselves? Because Drift is aggressively launching products in this space as of the last 6 months. How do you intend to protect yourselves if they decide to move into this space?
Yeah, it's a good question. Thought leadership is certainly something that we intend to be very active on, and that's part of one of the reasons that, or part of the next strategy for us in terms of what our next hire would be. We want to be the people that customers think of, that our clients think of when they want to know, when they're looking at their churn number and they're thinking, oh my gosh, how do we understand why these people are leaving and what do we do about it, right? And so if we can be the first people that they think about that and that we have this solution for them, we believe that we'll be in a good position.
Coming back to you.
Yeah, so can you, maybe working off that a little bit, can you talk about the competitive set?
In terms of who our competitors are? Yeah, so one of our competitors is call us to cancel, which is terrible, right? Another competitor is, there are a few competitors that are doing things kind of on the side of offering your customer something as soon as they click cancel and just like, oh, hey, here's a discount. And while that helps in some ways, we have a much wider value proposition to capturing the feedback, respecting your customer, capturing the feedback, and feeding that back into the top of your product loop.
This is a bit cheeky, but are you using your own service?
Absolutely.
And what have you learned?
Well, we haven't had anybody churn yet.
Did you learn anything else?
Did we learn anything else?
Yeah, from using your own service.
Well, it's super simple to implement, and that's one of the things that we really valued, because we know that the people that are going to want the service are going to be customer success managers, and they're not necessarily going to be, people really tied to development. So if you can put something in front of your developers and say, can we get this implemented for our cancellation flow, it can happen really quick.
Yeah, it's Geek Talk. The founding team looks great. Did everyone, or was the product built by people on the team today?
Yes.
Okay. And then what are your gaps? Like, who are your next two hires?
So my co-founder Cody Rogers and I were actually working together at a local SaaS company called Agree.com, and that's where the idea for Raaft was born. So he and I have worked very close together on product. The gaps in our team, the gaps in our team are primarily sales and marketing, and then I'm the primary developer, so additional development skill as well.
30 seconds for a question, very brief, haiku
yes or no
answer.
would be great.
Laura Haddock with Uccellini. I know I hate canceling on the phone, but I know that retaining customers through person-to-person contact on the phone is one of the best ways to retain your customers. So is there an option or a smart option to ask your customers, do you want us to call you?
Yes,
so we
there
can have
is.
a conversation.
And that will remain a mystery. Yes, there is, but it will remain a mystery. Thank you, Luke.
Thank you.
You can see Luke afterwards for the answer. Okay, so we do these in alphabetical order, and the last company is ZibaHub, starts with a Z. So I want to introduce founder Mandana Salehi Stewart, who has created a professional social networking platform connecting health and beauty practitioners to jobs, customers, and to each other. Mandana?
Thank you, Julie. So raise your hand if you have a LinkedIn account. And keep them raised if you've had a haircut in the past year. And keep them raised if you are LinkedIn to the person who last cut your hair. So most of the hands go down here because 90% of the health and beauty market does not use LinkedIn. I will tell you why this is a problem. The gig economy has created markets where nobody saw anything coming. These were markets that didn't exist before the internet. So who would have ever thought that the nanny business would be worth $200 million a year someday, or that home improvement services would be bringing in $500 to $600 million a year, or that dog walking would be a $2 billion or $1 billion industry? All of these gig economy enablement platforms have the same formula. You create a profile, you connect to your audience, you post some pictures of your work, you get ratings, rinse and repeat. But there's still one major economy silo that doesn't have an enablement platform. This industry is already bringing in $150 billion a year with a broken marketplace. The opportunity is pretty clear. There are about 2 million stylists in the US, and this doesn't include all of the other silos of health and beauty. We're just talking about hair. So there are about 2 million stylists in the US. And these stylists are very nomadic, so they move about every 18 to 24 months, which results in $350 million a year of loss for the salons and the spas that employ them. So every time there's a vacancy, there's going to be money lost for these salons. The product companies are spending $10 billion a year to advertise to this particular group. So they're going to places like Facebook and Instagram, and they are doing their best to try to reach this very disparate market. We've done the math, and we know that the opportunity in this particular marketplace could lead us to $12 million in revenue by our second year if we get the correct funding we need to reach our very first target group, which is our job platform. Imagine if this industry, with its disparate locations and broken marketplace, is already creating $150 billion a year. What will happen when we integrate the marketplace and we put the stylists in touch with the schools, the salons, the customers, each other, and the product companies? Our scaling model is pretty simple. We are going to start with the spa services industry, which includes hair, nails, skin, and massage, and then we're going to go after the rest of the health and beauty market. We have multiple revenue streams, which will be deployed in sequence, And we have an executive team that is slated to capture the market. I have helped to scale 2 startups in the Portland area over the last 10 years as a sales leader. And my strategic advisor, Holly Johnson, is the COO of Bishops.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. You did great. Thank you. Panelists?
So what is going to keep stylists if they go on this and they don't like other platforms? What about your platform is going to keep them on and retain them?
Sure. So stylists right now are using Instagram more than anything else. And Instagram is a great tool for them to showcase their work. This is a group of creative people who live and die by photographs and pictures of their life and their work. What we've put in place to make the community-enabled platform more attractive to stylists is we put in a digital bartering system. So we know that stylists already trade a lot of services. So they trade like hair for nails or massage for skincare services. So we actually put in a marketplace that allows people to go in and list what they're looking for and what they're offering and try to exchange services. We found that through all of the focus groups we've done, that was the most attractive thing that the industry was asking for. And the question we were asking was, what do you wish Instagram could do that it doesn't do? And they were like, oh, we wish that it would enable us to trade services a little bit more efficiently.
Can you spend a little bit more time on the business model? So, advertising is one type of company,
Sure.
A job match with a bounty, that seems like that's a different type of company. What's the business model?
So the business model is in 4 sequential streams. The very first stream is actually going to be the job board. So we are not actually a job board. We are a community-enabled social media platform. But one of our revenue streams is the job board, and the job board is where salons and spas and eventually all of the healthcare clinics can go and they can post jobs. So they will be paying a monthly subscription to be able to post jobs as well as browse stylist profiles proactively. So even if they don't have a job that's posted, they can still go and they can see who's in the market, they can view people's profiles, and they can contact them as needed.
Just a follow-up on that. So it seems like getting the stylists on the platform is the key first step.
Absolutely.
So that the companies have someone to post to. That's a consumer marketing exercise. Can you talk a little bit about what's your unfair advantage? How are you going to do that quickly?
Sure. So being partners with Bishops, which has over 200 franchises already deployed in the U.S., gives us a huge first-to-market advantage because we have a built-in marketplace. We also have, being, again, partners with Bishops, we have access to a lot of the influencers on social media who work with Bishops, so they're going to help us get the word out a little bit more organically than we would be able to do on our own for a more cost-efficient deployment model. We also have partnerships, and we've been talking to the schools. So we know that the cosmetology schools, the massage schools, all have an incentive to work with us because once their students graduate, they still have a government mandate to be able to report back on placement rates. And so we will talk to them about telling their students to get on our platform from day one when they're in school, which just kind of pumps people into our social ecosystem. And in exchange, when they want to see where their students are years down the line, we can produce those reports and sell it back to them. So that's another revenue stream for us as well.
You have some questions in the audience? Okay, come up with some questions, and then we'll come back to you.
Yeah. So how do you know that salons are going to actually pay to post these jobs? What have you done, and how have you talked to them?
So in addition to the market research we've done, we know that salons are already paying somebody to post jobs somewhere. So we know that they're posting on Craigslist, they're posting on Indeed, they're posting a lot of them on LinkedIn, even though LinkedIn doesn't actually have their demographic that they're trying to reach. But what we really know is that there was a company in Portland called Parlor Gig. Parlor Gig launched about 1.5 years ago, and they sort of were the hair version of Poached. So they were inspired by Poached. They created a job board, and that's where all the salon jobs were listed. So we acquired Parlor Gig, and we acquired with that all of their customers who were paying customers who were posting jobs already. And we also acquired the knowledge that went into creating that job board. So we know that the money's out there. We know people are spending it. We're just trying to give them a more efficient marketplace to deploy those jobs.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Cindy DeSoto, and I have a question for you with regard to the type of stylists that you're actually targeting. So I understand the student model, and I'm curious, is somebody going to the schools to help the students figure out how to create a profile? That's one question. And then my second one, you mentioned using Bishop's current employee base as part of your gig, but they wouldn't necessarily be looking for employment. So could you speak a little bit to the type of person you're looking to have on your platform exactly?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that question. So the schools right now all have about 2 to 5 days worth of training for social networking. So that's part of their curriculum. And during those 2 to 5 days, depending on the school, they are teaching their students how to market themselves once they graduate. We plan to become a part of that curriculum. We are going to put together some video tutorials, but for the ones that are in the Portland area and we can travel to them, especially in the beginning as we're getting the word out, we do plan to be there for those days to train their students on how to create their profiles, how to have a professional headshot. We even plan to take a photographer with us to take those professional headshots for them to help round out those profiles from the time they're in school. The second part with Bishops, we are looking for anybody who is in the industry to join the platform. So regardless of if they're looking for a job or not, we want them on our platform. So we are giving them a lot of things that are attractive to them, such as a news feed. So when you go on LinkedIn, for us in technology or any other industry that uses LinkedIn, there's a news feed with stuff that's relevant to us. The content is relevant. We're doing the same thing in ZibaHub. So there's going to be a news feed that keeps people engaged with a lot of the videos and tutorials and things that are directed specifically to them. Again, there's the job board if they're looking for jobs, but there is that buy, sell, trade marketplace, that digital bartering system that most people are telling us is the most attractive part to them as users. So that will keep them, going back and checking to see what's new on ZibaHub. And then down the line, we're going to build in other solutions such as consumer enablement. So a customer can also use that same profile that the stylist created to find them by their specialty and then, book a service with them and give them a rating instead of going on Yelp to rate the salon.
Question from the balcony on the right-hand side, or my right-hand side.
Hi, my name is Lisa Sipe. I was wondering if you're competing with Style Seat. It's what I use with my stylist, and when she's moved, I've been able to find out where she's at, and so I always look and see, has she moved? Can I book another appointment? So is that a competitor of yours?
No, not at all. Actually, StyleSeat is a great example. So StyleSeat is a scheduling platform out of the Bay Area. They've raised about $40 million. They're a great example of people moving toward this industry and finally starting to recognize that there's a market here. StyleSeat would actually be very complementary to our product because once we go live and we allow consumers to start booking with stylists, we do plan to integrate with tools like StyleSeat or MindBody or Booker, Schedulicity, lots of other scheduling tools out there. We're not going to build our own. There's too many out there, like StyleSeat, who are doing a great job with it. We are more on the enablement side for the stylist to be able to find a job and to be able to connect with each other.
Some questions here.
Yeah, you mentioned, I think you said 12 million in revenue after the first couple of years. Maybe just back it up to the first million in revenue. What does that look like? Is that just at a very high level? Is it X thousands of businesses paying Y dollars a month? How do you see the first million in revenue coming in?
Sure. So our first go-to-market pricing model is going to be $50 a month subscription for the salons. We are planning to do a soft launch here in the not here, this is Bend, in the Portland market. And then after Portland, we plan to expand a little bit north into Seattle and then eventually down south to first Los Angeles and then San Francisco. So using that $50 a month model, we do believe that we'll hit our first million in the first year. As long as we have the right funding that we need to be able to do those expansions on plan.
Just one moment, please. I see you.
No, it's all right.
I see you.
Can you talk a little bit about the milestones that you've achieved so far? I'm stealing Matt's question here. The milestones you achieved so far, what you're going to do with the funding, the milestones that you're going after.
Sure.
Can you answer that in haiku so I can make sure to include this person?
Yes. So we actually started developing the software back in February. So before then, it was just kind of an idea. I was still working my day job and just kind of had this idea to do this based on my mom. My mom is in the industry. My grandmother's in the industry. My sister-in-law is in the industry. So I was kind of inspired by the women who surrounded me and all of their lack of ability to do all the things that I was able to do in my professional networking life. So we started in February. We were able to raise about $100,000 so far. We're very capital efficient. We have the product already built. We're ready to deploy. We have enough to deploy in the Portland market. And so we're just looking for an infusion of funds to be able to do a larger deployment at this point.
One sentence question, one sentence answer.
Hi, I'm Sandy
Hi.
Cloud. As someone who struggles with giving enough time to social media and not scattering myself too far abroad, how do you see pulling those folks from Instagram, where it's really become easy, to a less visual LinkedIn-ish type platform?
And that will remain a mystery.
No, I have to answer that.
No, I'm sorry. I really, could you connect afterwards and answer that question? And look, these people will be here, right? So it's not just their moment on the stage, they'll be around.
Can I tell them one last thing?
I'm sorry,
Julie.
no.
But there's
No, I know. Oh, is that from you? You can't go.
Arrest?
No, the sheriff will come up and make an arrest, but there's something under your seat.
So 100 of you have free haircuts underneath your seats, courtesy of our partners over at Bishop, so you can validate the market for yourselves. Thank you.
Okay. Now, thank you to the 5 intrepid souls that presented. Give them a round of applause. Thank you to our esteemed panelists for your expertise and time.